Hello and a very warm welcome to our special presentation, Budget of Hope. The economic survey has been presented. The survey provides a summary of the annual economic development across the country during a financial year. And to understand what corporate India wants from Budget 2021, I'm joined by Mr. Vineet Agarwal, President of ASSOCHAM. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Well, all good. And as they say that extraordinary times, they call for extraordinary measures. Expectations of ASSOCHAM from the upcoming budget?
Yes, of course, extraordinary measures, and we're just coming out of a pandemic. The global economy is also facing a lot of challenges. And I think India as a country is really coming about. Even the economic survey talked about how the recovery is heading towards a V-shaped recovery. The homecoming is what the economic advisor mentioned today in the economic survey. Our expectations from the budget from ASSOCHAM, and as you know, ASSOCHAM represents about 4.5 lakh members across the country, which include a lot of MSMEs as well, is that the government should be looking at a relaxation on the fiscal deficit, because this is a time when we need to really invest for the future versus looking at just expenditure for the current time. So one would be definitely a relaxation on the fiscal side. The second would be increased infrastructure spend. Third would be increase the healthcare and education spend. And fourth would be rationalization of taxes, specifically in the area of GST.
All right. And talking about the economic survey, the major takeaways for you, Mr. Agarwal.
The major takeaways are essentially what I just mentioned was essentially homecoming of the economy. There is a focus that the economic survey is talking on the agri side, which is the increasing and investment into a fund, as well as the expenditure on the roads for the villages. This is something that we've also been talking about, that the impact of creating more roads at the village level is multifold. It increases rural employment, increases rural incomes, and then creates the agri supply chains that are needed now to connect and really create an enabling infrastructure for cold chains to thrive, to really connect the farm to the fork, as we say.
All right. The economic survey also talked about the V-shaped recovery of the economy. What is your view? What is your big picture take on the economy going ahead?
So certainly there are lots of green shoots that we are seeing. We are seeing GST collections increasing, auto sales going up, e-way bill movement increasing, freight movement increasing. But of course, there are challenges. I think several challenges towards, for example, fuel prices increasing quite rapidly, which has an impact on inflation. Capacity utilization at the ground level is still quite low. Some of it was mentioned in the economic survey, but it's about 50-60%. Until that capacity utilization doesn't start increasing, private investment is going to be a little slower to come about. So today, I guess the heavy lifting has to be done by the government so that we are able to really come out of this and essentially go towards a V-shaped recovery.
Since you talked about the challenges, how do you think Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman can convert these challenges into opportunities?
Yes, it is a delicate balancing act, specifically because we are coming out of a COVID situation. There is a lot of expenditure that has happened on the healthcare side, on even the food grain distribution side. So clearly the deficits are going to be a little bit not in sync with the FRBM. However, again, as I said, this is a time for investments. So the government should be looking at several areas. For example, accelerating the divestment plans so that would bring in more revenues for the government. Clearly, rationalization of taxes like GST will help in ensuring that the consumption trends, that is, the demand is active still. So we know during this pandemic, we've all been consuming a lot of products versus services. So yes, how can we ensure that this demand for consumption side continues? And one of the ways could be rationalization of GST. There are several industries that really are asking for a lower rate of GST because the input credit is not available. And there are some that are asking for higher rates of GST because they want more input credit. So this should be a data-driven exercise to really see how it can really bring about an increase in demand. One clear example is the two-wheelers.
Yes.
Two-wheelers is at 28% GST. So a common man who buys a two-wheeler really cannot claim any input credit. So some of this rationalization can really spur demand and hence lead to more taxes and help the government.
All right, since we're talking about boosting consumption, boosting demand, I'd also like to talk about rural demand. The measures that you suggest to the finance minister for boosting rural demand.
So one would be definitely expenditure on the roads for the village connectivity, the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. That's important. One of the suggestions we have also is creating an agri-tech fund. So if there is a lot of investment that can go from innovation perspective into the agriculture sector, can we use drones for fertilizer distribution? Can we do soil testing? Can we do more adequate soil testing? Connect the villages or the produce to avoid the middlemen somewhere. So if there is an investment that happens in a fund that is used for funding some of this innovation at the agri side, it will help build the agri supply chains as well and directly helping the rural areas. Clearly, expenditure on education at the rural areas, which would mean that building more broadband connections, reaching the villages is essential. Today, we've seen that the difference between someone getting a good education or getting no education is the availability of internet or a device because of the pandemic. So it would be critical that this core basic infrastructure now starts reaching the villages.
All right, talking about manufacturing, the government has already launched the Make in India initiative. We've seen several benefits of the same. There's PLI scheme as well. But what are the other measures that you think the government must unveil to make India a manufacturing hub?
So for manufacturing, PLI is excellent. It's one of those areas that can really ensure that new investments start coming into sectors that are not just as a replacement for imports, that is moved towards more Atmanirbhar Bharat, but also towards exports as well. And of course, the areas there that require investment would be that this investment of PLI continues for some time and should also at some point be linked to productivity. Because until we are not competitive on the global stage, we will not be able to export. So PLI can help us to some extent, but over time, if we need to be competitive as a nation for our exports, we need to be productive, we need to have high quality standards. So investment there would be critical for the manufacturing sector to really take off using the jump board, as we call for the PLI. Then I think a lot of the aspects related to land, labor, logistics, those need to be improved from an ease of doing business so that manufacturing is also easier. The labor reforms that have been announced are very, very good and they could really help in the manufacturing boom.
All right, Mr. Agarwal, thank you so much for giving us those important inputs and sharing your perspective with us. Thanks so much for joining Rajya Sabha Television.